From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell. Air Canada says it's preparing for a gradual suspension of some flights ahead of a potential work stoppage by flight attendants on Saturday. The airline said the first flights will be canceled tomorrow, with more on Friday, and a complete cessation of flying by Air Canada and Air Canada Rouge by the weekend if it doesn't reach a deal. The situation has made some travelers a little concerned, like Candice Tidy, who is on an Air Canada flight today from Toronto to Halifax.
We're due back in 2 weeks, so we'll have to see what happens. I'm hoping that if it's still on strike, they'll offer us some alternate ways to get home.
Air Canada has issued a notice that it is also planning to lock out the flight attendants if there is no resolution. BC's wildfire service says a blaze near a community on Vancouver Island that's forced evacuations is displaying some of the most severe kinds of behavior. The agency says flames span more than 20 kilometers in and around Port Alberni and are burning at an extremely vigorous rate, consuming trees from trunk to canopy. Meanwhile, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary is investigating 5 brush fires in downtown St. John's, which they believe were started by one person. Several water bombers have slowed the growth of the fire, currently threatening Newfoundland and Labrador's largest city. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's met with the Coalition of the Willing, the group of nations who've agreed to support Ukraine in its fight against Russian invasion. The meeting was chaired by leaders of the UK, France, and Germany, and also involved Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, as well as U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. The gathering comes ahead of ceasefire negotiations in Alaska tomorrow between U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Meanwhile, Trump said he had a good conversation with President Zelenskyy ahead of the summit. A statement says Zelenskyy told Trump that Putin is bluffing about his successes in the war and that his end goal is to occupy Ukraine. ABC's Patrick Ravel has more.
President Zelenskyy had seemed to sound a much more skeptical note, saying that he believes ultimately Vladimir Putin is still bluffing about wanting peace, and that is at the heart of what he's trying to do with this summit. But clearly the messaging from Europe is that perhaps there is a chance here to try and at least move towards trying to get a ceasefire.
European allies have pushed for Ukraine's involvement in any peace talks, fearful that discussions that exclude Kyiv could otherwise favor Moscow. And the American pop star who calls herself the Midwest Princess could be coming to the prairies. During the Zane Lowe podcast on Apple Music, Chappell Roan talked about her latest single, The Subway, and its Saskatchewan name drop. She said it's time that the overlooked province be recognized globally.
It's awesome. I've never been there, but I promise I will perform there one day.
The Good Luck Babe singer has attracted the attention of many in the province, including Premier Scott Moe, who has said that many would look forward to attending her show. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Blue Jays slugger George Springer has been cleared to return to game action after suffering a concussion over 2 weeks ago. The 35-year-old outfielder and designated hitter hasn't played since July 28th when he was hit in the helmet by a fastball thrown by Baltimore Orioles pitcher Cade Stroud. The Jays will send 8-8 Kevin Gausman to the mound tonight against the Chicago Cubs at Rogers Center. The Larry O'Brien Trophy will be in Montreal next week. Lou Dort, who won the NBA championship with Oklahoma City Thunder in June, will have a 2-day celebration in his home city. Dort will have a homecoming parade on the 21st in Montreal Nord, the borough where he grew up. And Montreal's Felix Auger-Aliassime is on the court in a round of 16 match at the Cincinnati Open. He's facing France's Benjamin Bonzi on the hard court. Auger-Aliassime is the last Canadian in a singles bracket in the tennis tournament. Ottawa's Gabriela Dabrowski and partner Erin Routliffe of New Zealand are in the women's doubles quarterfinal tomorrow. From the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell.